Hi, my name is Ahmad and I'm going to talk about the genetically modified organism. And my topic for today is genetically modified plants and the human health. The author, the author name is Sozi Ki. Sozi Ki is a molecular immunologist, Center of Infection, Department of Cellular and Molecular Medicine in George's University of London. And actually, this is what I found on this author. Also, actually, this is not an article. This is a review because I could not find any articles that talking about the GMO. Introduction: plants with favorable characteristics have been produced for thousands of years by conventional breeding methods. Desirable traits are selected, combined, and propagated by repeated sexual crossings over numerous generations. This is a long process taking up to 15 years to produce new varieties. Genetic engineering not only allows this process to be dramatically accelerated in a highly targeted manner by introducing a small number of genes, it can also overcome the barrier of sexual incompatibility between plant species and vastly increase the size of the available gene pool. Transgenic (GM) plants are those that have been genetically modified using recombinant DNA technology. This may be to express a gene that is not native to the plant, or to modify endogenous genes. The protein encoded by the gene will confer a particular trait or characteristic to the plant. The technology can be used to improve the nutritional content of the plant, an application that could be of particular use in the developing world. From the first generation of GM crops, two main areas of concern have emerged: normally risk to the environment and risk to human health. This review will examine how GM plants may impact on human health both directly through applications targeted at nutrition, but also indirectly through potential effects on the environment. Genetically modified a plant. A number of techniques exist for the production of GM plants. The two most commonly employed are the bacterium Agrobacterium tumefaciens, which is naturally able to transfer DNA to plants, and the gene gun, which shoots microscopic particles coated with DNA into the plant cell. Three aspects of this procedure have raised debate with regard to human health. First, the use of selectable markers to identify transformed cells. Second, transfer of extraneous DNA into the plant genome. And third, the possibility of increased mutations in GM plants compared to non-GM counterparts due to culture processes used in their production and the rearrangement of DNA around the insertion site of foreign genes. Food application for GM plants. In the developing world, 840 million people are chronically undernourished, surviving on fewer than 8,000 kg per day, 2,000 kcal per day. Approximately 1.3 million people are living on less than US one day, 16.17, and do not have secure access to food. Many of these are also rural farmers in developing countries, depending entirely on small-scale agriculture for their own subsistence and to make their living. They generally cannot afford to irrigate their crops or purchase herbicides or pesticides, leading to a vicious circle of poor crop growth, falling yields, and pest susceptibility. GM plant technologies are one of a number of different approaches that are being developed to combat this problem. Specifically, studies are underway to genetically modify plants to increase crop yield or to directly improve nutritional content. For example, GM technology offers a way to alleviate some of these problems by engineering plants to express additional products that can combat malnutrition. An important example of the potential of this technology is the Golden Rice Project. Vitamin A deficiency. Vitamin A deficiency is widespread in the developing world and is estimated to account for the deaths of approximately 2 million children per year. In 2000, engineered rice that contained moderate levels of beta-carotene and since then researchers have produced the much higher yielding gold rice. It is estimated that 72 grams of dry golden rice will provide 50% of the RDA of vitamin A for a 1 to 3 year old child. Question is, are GM foods safe to use? GM crops are tightly regulated by several government bodies. In the USA, the Food and Drug Agency, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service are all involved in the regulatory process of GM crop approval. Foods derived from GM crops have been consumed by hundreds of millions of people across the world for more than 15 years with no reported ill effects or legal cases related to human health. A study claiming that rats fed with GM potatoes expressing the gene for the lectin Glanthus nivalis agglutinin suffered damage to gut mucosa was published in 1999. The Royal Society have since stated that the study is flawed in many aspects of design, execution, and analysis, and then no conclusions should be drawn from it. However, GM technology may also be used to decrease the levels of allergens present in plants by reducing expression levels of the relevant genes. For example, research was recently undertaken to identify an allergen in soya beans and remove it using GM technology. GM plants and the environment. The following concerns have been expressed with regard to GM plants and the environment. That GM plants will sexually hybridize with non-GM plants through the transfer of pollen. That GM plants may themselves become invisible weed, and that the conditions required to grow GM plants will affect local wildlife populations. In 2001, in a highly publicized study, evidence was presented that GM genes from GM maize had, by crossing or by cross pollination, contaminated while maize in Mexico, the Global Center for diversity of this species. The validity of this work was disputed at the time of publication, and later studies have also failed to detect any evidence of transgene. More recently, it has been reported that GM herbicide-resistant creeping bentgrass plant in Oregon, USA was found up to 3.8 km outside the designated area of cultivation. The authors of the study postulated that this dispersal was a result of both pollen-mediated sexual crossing with plant in the wild and GM crop seed dispersal. GM plants and public opinion. Several media organizations are implacably opposite to GM plants, crops that have been designed to help relieve malnutrition in the developing world, such as golden rice, are attacked on the basis that it tasted awful and that to be of any benefit, a child would have to eat approximately 7 kilograms of cooked golden rice, an overestimation by more than 15 times, according to the founder of the product. Insect-resistant cotton engineered to produce the Bt toxin requires far less pesticide application and produces higher crop yields than the non-GM counterpart, generating save of up to 500 per hectare for farmers. Future study. While genetic engineering of food continues to generate concern and controversy for some consumer, evidence to date have been indicated that any food using genetic engineering techniques that pose risks greater than food produced using traditional methods. In addition, we need further develop and maintain based regulatory programs. These programs must be able to flexible and fairly assess and manage the potential risk from evolving technology. This is my reference. Thank you.